When I was 25 and a half, I started a podcast. The goal? To review some of the newest and the latest movies, along with some other stuff. With the help of my guests, I was able to do this, but there were dark forces tampering with my podcast, and with me. They called it an improvised podcast for some reason. I eventually found help in the form of myself. Yes, the me from a universe where the movies I reviewed got delayed. Apparently, my podcast made it to his universe. I know now that it is my duty, for the good of that universe, nay, the multiverse, to keep recapping and reviewing these movies, to hold listeners over until they could eventually see the movies as they were made in their world. For some reason, they come out differently in my world, but it's kind of entertaining that way. My name is Steven Shinder, and this is Delayed Replay. Hello, listeners. Welcome to another episode of Delayed Replay, that podcast where we recap and review movies that came out on time in our universe because they got delayed in that other universe. I'm your host, as always, Steven Shinder, and joining me again for the first time in a few months now, I think. Maybe you've heard him before, but he's back now. It is Greg. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, it's been a while. A lot has happened.
Yeah, like we've watched a bunch of other movies and written about them on Letterboxd since then.
Yeah, there's been a lot. Yeah, I've been doing at least 2 films a day, so
Yeah, that sounds about
popping them
right.
out. Yeah,
What
and then the terrible movies, terrible movies we've seen recently.
Yeah, like would you just die if you didn't meet your quota of watching 2 movies per day? Like what would happen?
I just feel better knowing that, like, so what I do is, like, I think, okay, I need to watch 2 films today. What am I going to watch? I find my list. I just watch 2 random films. Then I'm like, okay, now I can watch any TV show I want because now I don't have to worry about time because TV shows take so long to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned this on the podcast before, I think, but I have this list of TV shows I'm trying to get through. A few of them are, I guess a couple of them are rewatches, but most of them are like, actually, I think half of them is like stuff I'm getting through for the first time that's been around for a while, and the other half is current ongoing stuff. And there's like 25 things, and whenever I finish something and am able to take it off the list, like 2 other things pop up, like they get new episodes. It's like, damn it, I'm trying to decrease this thing.
Yeah, there's an app for that. That's what I do.
Oh yeah, I just use the Notes app on my phone.
That's so much effort. Yeah, the app tells me when there's a new episode out, so I just watch it.
Oh,
but obviously,
okay. Yeah,
but
that's what the app does.
it's in America though, so like it says an episode's out, but obviously I can't have access to it. So
right, yeah,
like,
I just remember the days that things come out, but anyway.
Yeah, Disney makes sense because that's every Wednesday.
Yeah, it's every Wednesday now. But yeah, so the movie we're talking about on this episode is Clifford, the Big Red Dog. Because I mean, that's how we pronounce it in America. No, I'm kidding. It's just Clifford. How we pronounce it.
Henry Ford is just like, oh my god.
Yeah, Henry Ford, the actor who played Han Solo and Indiana Jones.
And then Harrison Ford, the creator of the mega corporation Ford.
Yeah, also starred in Ford versus Ferrari, and like he went up against another car. But anyway,
it's funny how that film got its name changed in everywhere else.
Oh, did it actually?
Yeah, it's called Le Mans 66 because that's what actually happened.
Oh.
It's like the Americans either dumbed down. It's like, okay, this is for Ford versus Ferrari, and everyone else is like, the Mars 66.
Yeah, that does sound like a dumb thing that would happen, like changing Philosopher's Stone to Sorcerer's Stone, because
yeah, that is ridiculous.
They think American audiences are dumb, which I mean some are, but But yeah, so this live action Clifford movie came out November last year for us, but in that other universe, apparently it was supposed to come out at some film festival in September, but now it's not anymore, and it's September theatrical release date is like it's not on the schedule anymore, so I don't know when it's coming out from Paramount. But yeah, we've seen it in our universe, so we're here to recap and review it. Before we get into the movie proper, do you have any previous experiences like reading or watching Clifford stuff?
I definitely grew up with watching them, not that I remember much. Like it's at the really early point in my years where you just remember seeing still images, but you don't really remember story or whatever.
Yeah, I think in elementary school and maybe kindergarten, there were a couple Clifford books lying around that I probably went through. And I know that me and my cousins watched the cartoon every now and then. Like that one aired from 2000 to 2003, I think. But it's been like a long time since I've watched it, probably 15 years or more. But I remember finding it pleasant. Like it was just slice of life every day, like Clifford nonsense. When the trailer for the live action Clifford came out, like, well, what was your reaction to
Oh,
how he looked?
they tried too hard. That's what I think. They tried to make it look realistically as possible, and it just in the uncanny valley, it just looks terrifying.
Yeah, because it's like a giant CGI dog, but it's also red, and
It's like
yeah,
no
it's
real
weird.
animal is. Yeah, it's like you don't see a dog that's red. It's like if you're trying to do it, at least do it like let's see, like Christopher Robin. You can clearly do something that looks real enough, but you gotta like cut it down a bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure how else they could have done it, but it took some getting used to, definitely. Or some people didn't get used to it like ever, but like some like me did, I guess. So like just whatever, I guess. But yeah, this movie, obviously we have Emily Elizabeth who's in middle school and she like struggles to fit in. Like the kids at this school are really annoying, right? The way that they're like making fun of her.
Yeah, I mean, she does have her name is EE, so I'm surprised we don't get a cameo from the legendary EE actor.
Oh, I'm not very familiar with EE, the actor.
Oh, you're not. Oh, um,
Oh wait, is that Kevin Bacon's nickname? Is
yeah,
that what this
yeah,
is?
yeah, because Kevin Bacon's in all the EE adverts.
Oh,
It's like, oh, you
okay.
EE, you're friends with Kevin Bacon, are you? Pig.
Well, like it feels very annoying the way that they're making fun of her, and it's like, just get on with it. We get it. Like, it's just kind of dumb, but yeah, she's feeling like a fish out of water, and she like really needs a friend. Like she has her uncle, Casey, who's played by Jack Whitehall, and like she has family, but it's like she doesn't have someone that she can talk to that much, which is kind of weird because like they're all human. So they decide to like go to the pet store, which of course is where we see Clifford as a puppy, and he's like already red. And there's this animal rescuer played by John Cleese, who's named Mr. Bridwell. How do you think John Cleese was in this role?
I think John Cleese pulled the movie along. He was great.
I forget. Have you ever seen Monty Python, or is that
I
what?
have I've seen those, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like obviously he's from there, and like I've known of him since like I watched Holy Grail as a kid, and yeah, I feel like even in some of the most lackluster movies, he can kind of pull it along. Like he probably did that a bit in those Pink Panther remake movies. I mean, I don't know if you've seen those ones, but with Steve Martin, but I haven't seen like any of the old ones, which is probably sacrilege to some people.
Yeah, I've seen like one of the old ones, and that's probably about it.
Yeah, they should have had a live action CGI Pink Panther instead of the 2D animated ones in the
I mean,
movie.
isn't that basically what that Warner Brothers movie was? Space Jam.
Space Jam: A New
Yeah.
Legacy. Yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah,
was probably in it somewhere.
maybe. I'd have to like look it up, but I really enjoyed that one. Yeah, it's kind of weird that we're once again talking about a live action movie based on an animated thing that takes place in New York, like we did with Tom and Jerry, but obviously it's like it's a dog this time, so it's kind of weird.
I don't get these. I don't get it at all. Like, I didn't like The Lion King. I mean, I haven't seen The Lion King. I refuse to watch it.
Yeah, I mean it's not technically live action, it's photorealistic, but I find it just fine, but like it does things here and there that would have improved the original, but overall it just doesn't surpass the original.
Yeah, I see the singing sections, and I'm like, you're not even singing to the camera. You're just walking.
I mean, did you not like that Pumbaa actually sang the word farted this time?
Um, obviously, I love my fart jokes.
Yeah, I mean, in this Clifford movie, there was something like that, like way later on. We'll get back to like this pet
Fart
store
joke.
thing, but yeah, like there's a fart joke because like when he's like really big, like you don't see it, but it's implied that like off screen there's like a giant piece of dog poo that they have to clean up, and they're like grimacing, and it's like, oh, I'm really glad that this movie doesn't have like smell-o-vision because I'd probably smell terrible with the size of it, you know.
Yeah, the bigger the dog, the bigger they.
Yeah, basically. I'm glad they didn't show it though. I think that in the Lion King remake, there's a part where they show like insects carrying a piece of poo or something. It's like, really, you had to do that? But
We need a live action remake of Bug's Life.
oh, I thought you were gonna say like live action emoji movie where like the poop emoji looks
Oh no,
photorealistic.
No, I'm not putting myself through that unless the society forces me to.
Yeah,
That's
the
not.
sci-fi and
That's
horror society.
yeah. That is not a conscious choice I'm making.
Yeah, for some reason, a couple people we know really want the society to watch it. Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah. So, Mr. Bridwell, John Cleese's character, he like so apparently he's like a magical animal rescuer. They didn't really give an explanation of what makes him magical. It's kind of something that's just accepted, and like he just mentions it and everyone's like okay, and they just
Probably just see him as kind of like a fairy godmother sort of thing.
yeah, or like how with Willy Wonka people just accept that he is who he is, and it's just
Can't eat him though.
oh yeah, because that would be cannibalism. My dear children, that's frowned upon in this modern society. Yeah, I love both of those movies, but I find that I prefer the 2005 one because I think the Oompa Loompa songs are better in that, and I like the family stuff that's added, like the father son stuff. And like you can imagine Vin Diesel showing up and being like,
Family.
you don't need chocolate when you got family.
And then the kid just like jumps into the sea of chocolate anyway.
Oh yeah, Augustus.
Yeah, he just runs away from Vin Diesel. It's like, no, give me the chocolate.
Yeah. So yeah, Emily Elizabeth brings Clifford home like when he's a puppy, and there's like that night there's like the shooting star, and she wishes that he could be big and protect them, which I thought was kind of weird because I felt like there wasn't really much of an outside threat yet that they needed protecting from. Like I guess it was just the kids picking on her at school, but I don't know, like
She wasn't dying.
right. What would be really intense for like a kids or family movie like this, but
I mean, it's just a friendlier version of Carrie.
yeah, like I don't know, like do you think her reactions Like as a 12-year-old kid, like were her reactions here realistic, or did it kind of feel like it would have been more suitable for like a younger kid?
I feel like she dealt with it well enough, I think.
Yeah, I guess. Like at the school, there are some students here and there who are nice, but there are like a few rotten ones who are just like, the stereotypical nee 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 nee, and just
Yeah, you just gotta stay away from them, you know.
yeah. And I mean, there is also like the boy, this is like their neighbor next door. His name is Owen Yu, and like he ends up being friendly, and they're like I can't remember if he's in the cartoon or not because it's been forever, but they sort of form a friendship later on as they deal with the Clifford stuff. But yeah, like she makes a wish, and like a tear of hers falls onto Clifford, and like the next morning he's gigantic, and it's like you just kind of accept it, like there's magic, he becomes like super huge. I saw that one of the comments on YouTube was the most unrealistic thing about this movie was that they had enough room for Clifford in their Manhattan apartment.
Yeah, you'd be lucky to fit one person in that.
Right. And so like they're kind of panicking about how big he's gotten, which I mean, I would be worried too if like my dog all of a sudden became gigantic. My dog Elias, who's a Chihuahua,
Yeah, that would be like Jurassic Park come to life, honestly.
or like even if he became Scooby Doo sized, I'd be concerned about my dog. But
Yeah, it would eat you alive.
I mean, he wouldn't eat me alive, but it'd just be sort of weird and be like, well, was it something I fed you? Like, what happened? But they take him to the vet, who's played by, well, obviously they have kind of a hard time taking him out through the door, and they kind of have to like go down the fire escape, and it's kind of a struggle. Like, I don't know about you, but whenever any character goes down a fire escape in a movie or a TV show, like in New York City, I kind of get nervous because of how high up they are.
Yeah, you always see the ladders like falling apart and just dropping, and they're already hanging on for their dear life. And I'm just like, I would never want to be one of those.
Yeah, like that would be terrifying.
We
But
don't get those over here, I don't think.
and they call for a taxi, but then the taxi driver's like, "Yeah, I don't have room for that dog," and so they end up having to walk like several blocks. But they get to the vet, who's played by Keenan Thompson. I don't know if you've seen Keenan in anything else, but you've definitely seen him in Snakes on a Plane, Greg. He was,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he was one of a few bright spots in that movie.
Not many.
Right. Like I've kind of been a fan of Keenan since me and my brother were kids, and we watched him on All That and Keenan and Kel, and it's nice to see him pop up and stuff every now and then. I mean, he recently had his own show called Keenan, which I think is getting a second season. It had kind of a rough start, but got better by the end of the season.
I mean, he was also in The Mighty Ducks, I think, as well, which I've seen those movies.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think the only movie of his from that era that I've seen is Good Burger, which I've talked about a lot on this podcast. Oh, and Heavyweights, when he was much younger. But yeah, well, I still need to see the Mighty Ducks movies. I intend to get to them, but I think I'm gonna check out the animated series first, where it's like the anthropomorphic ducks from space. Like I remember seeing the commercials for all of those on one of the Disney VHSs I had as a kid. But yeah, I'll probably get to that once I finish the original DuckTales series. Like I finished the reboot and now I'm watching the original.
Oh, nice. Have you seen the Animaniacs? Because I think that's one that's going around as well.
I watched that as a kid. It was all those Warner Brothers cartoons, and I think it came back, like it got revived sometime within the last couple of years or something, but I haven't seen any of the new stuff. Like it's been forever since I've seen any Animaniacs.
Been a while.
Yeah. Have you seen it or?
No, I've just seen them on the streaming sites.
Yeah. I think it's on Hulu over here at the moment. But yeah, so Keenan, I think he's really funny as the vet here. Like it's like he doesn't try too much effort, but it's just like the stuff he says is just somehow already funny. Like the way he reacts, he's like super surprised, and he's like, "Dang, that's a big dog," and like that's when they refer to him as like, "Yep, he is Clifford, the big red dog," and
Roll
roll
credits.
credits. But yeah, they do some tests on him, and they eventually get the results. They're like, yeah, we don't know like what made him big. It's really weird. They eventually go back to the pet store, but they see that it's no longer the same pet store. Like it's like just a normal one. Like John Cleese isn't there anymore. It doesn't look the same, and I thought that was like really weird. Like it almost adds like kind of a supernatural element to it, you know?
Yeah, definitely had that was kind of a good part of the film, kind of hiding that in there.
Yeah.
It's like the supernatural wasn't a too big of a part, I feel, but it was there long enough that you can kind of get you thinking about what's actually happening.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when like Willy Wonka as a kid, he runs away and then he comes back home and all of a sudden the entire apartment building is gone. It's just really weird. I feel like this is also a plot hole. Like, why didn't they just go back to the pet store first before going to the vet? Like, oh, I don't know. Do you think they should have done that first, or was it more realistic for them to see the vet first?
I would think that going back to where you bought it from would make sense because like
Yeah,
you bought it from them. If they knew something was up with the dog, then they should have told you. You know, like John Cleese goes, "Yo, this dog's gonna be big, so be careful."
yeah, it's kind of like if you buy a toy from somewhere and then all of a sudden it's like malfunctioning, maybe. Well, I mean, not that Clifford is malfunctioning, but it's like, yeah, there's something weird going on with this. So you would think you would go back to the store and be like, yo, what's going on here? Yeah, so they don't know why Clifford is big. They just kind of accept it. You have like this montage of moments that I guess are supposed to be cute. Like Clifford almost accidentally eats a dog but spits him out.
Yeah, that was horrific.
Like, was that a bit much?
Um, just a bit. It kind of gave me fluffy vibes. If you've seen the Harry Potter movies,
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, the CGI for Fluffy, like Clifford CGI doesn't look that different from Fluffy, which is yeah, you would think that after all this time they would be able to make it look better, you know? Like Fluffy
yeah,
looks fine for the time, like
yeah.
2001, but yeah.
Just waiting for the drooling to come out of Clifford sometimes. Just like they just drool, just like landing on her head.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
She's like trying to like take it off and it's just like going everywhere.
Yeah, I'm watching the Turner and Hooch TV show, which very much like the film, like they don't stray away from showing the drool, which is really disgusting. But it's an okay show. But anyway, um,
Yeah,
and
it's got that weird guy in it, isn't
what Josh Peck?
Yeah, who would you think?
I mean, it's fun. Like Josh Peck, I've been a fan of him for a long time. Like also going way back to like Nickelodeon days, and so like seeing him in something recent, like I guess I have this inclination to root for him. Like I know he seems like a nice guy in real life and well composed. I know a few years ago he had that show Grandfathered, which got canceled after one season, unfortunately. But I liked him in that, and it's cool seeing him in this show. But I feel like he wouldn't be able to carry it by himself, which is why I'm glad there are these other side characters who have their own things going on that keep things interesting.
That's good.
Yeah. His character is like really clueless about this one woman who has a crush on him, it's really annoying how clueless he is about it.
There was another reboot show that I watched. I watched the iCarly reboot.
Oh yeah, I've been keeping up with that.
I watched a couple episodes, and like, yeah, I see like all the old characters are brought back, but the characters they added nothing to the show at all, in my opinion.
I mean, I like the new characters. Like, I understand why Jeanette McCurdy, who played Sam, didn't want to come back. And I guess Noah Monk, who played Gibby, didn't want to come back either. But, like, the characters all together, like, it feels like, to me, it feels pretty much like the same old iCarly. It's just that it's a bit more adult, which is really weird how they mention all these adult things and
Yeah,
like also like a couple curse words that you wouldn't hear in the original iCarly. It's
I
just
do. I
kind of
do like.
jarring.
I do like how Jerry Trainor has basically hasn't aged a second since the TV show.
Yeah, I think in the new show his character is 40 now,
But
which
he doesn't look it, but he acts exactly the same as he did, which I love because he's still the heart of the show.
yeah, maybe Jerry Trainor should be the next Wolverine since he doesn't age.
He's 44. He does not look 44.
Right, but I guess he'd also be like really tall for what people would want for Wolverine, so maybe not.
I would want him to be Wolverine, or like a really funny Wolverine.
Oh, like if you know what they
Deadpool.
could do? Like how in Loki there are like all those Loki variants. They should have him play a Wolverine variant.
Yes. Well, now they've messed up. Marvel's like everything's now going to be a what if, isn't it? It's like, oh, what if iCarly was the Avengers?
Oh, who would be whom? I'm trying to like think now like which like okay, so Wolverine was technically an Avenger in the comics at some point, but now I'm like trying
Yeah.
to imagine like if there are any others that Spencer or any of the other characters would be.
I think Jeanette McCurdy's character Sam would be, I guess, in like Scarlet Witch.
Oh yeah, she could do that. Like using dark magic and whatnot.
Yeah, she'd be quite good in that.
Yeah,
But then
Freddy.
Gibby would be Fat Thor.
Oh, like Endgame Thor.
Yeah, Fat Thor. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and Freddy. I guess because Freddy is the tech guy, would be Iron Man by default, right?
Yeah.
And then Carly.
Black Widow.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where, like, in the movies, there are very few women Avengers, so it's like, I guess she'd be Black Widow by default.
Yeah, she wouldn't be Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I guess not. Like, yeah, I could see her more as Black Widow than Captain Marvel, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure who Millicent and Harper.
Because it's weird because one main reason why I didn't like her in iCarly is the way she interjects in the jokes that doesn't add anything.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see that, but like she doesn't really bother me because I feel like the way that her character acts feels very much in the mold of the original iCarly. It is kind of weird how Carly doesn't feel like she's gotten smarter. Like at some points I go back and forth on whether she's maybe dumber than Carly was on the original show, or if she's exactly the same as she was on the original show. Folks, email us at delayedreplaypodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what Avengers all these different characters would beat.
Yes, comment.
Yeah, because we should probably get back to Clifford. Obviously they're like having fun with him, but there are also like these moments where he's like messing stuff up. Like he runs into the middle of a bar mitzvah. Like, what'd you think of that scene and what went down?
I found that bloody hilarious. Like everyone was singing, and then like Clifford just ran in and started licking everyone.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad for like the kid who was being celebrated, that like this dog was just rampaging through what's supposed to be his own celebration. But
Yeah.
but by the end of it, I was kind of okay with it because at the end he was like, wow, that's a really cool dog. Even though like the guests who like got licked by Clifford were like really unhappy.
Yeah, it was like the adults versus the children.
Yeah.
All the children are like really happy.
Yeah, and so you have like all these adult characters like telling Emily and her family and friends that like Clifford is a menace and whatever. Like you might as well just put J.K. Simmons in there and being like, Clifford is a menace. I want pictures of Clifford. Um, and yeah, she's like feeling really sad about like the world's perception of Clifford. But he catches the attention of this genetics company and like they want to like experiment on him, and the way that they talk about what they want to do with him, it sounds like they want to make like a kaiju monster type of
Yeah,
thing,
yeah. I was
which
thinking Godzilla because
yeah, because like they show like the on their computer like a 3D animated design of what they want to do, and it looks like Clifford meets Godzilla. Like it looks like that book Dogzilla. I don't know if you've ever read that book, but
no.
it's by the author of Captain Underpants. So
Oh, of course, of course he would do that.
yeah, he also made a book called Cat Kong.
Oh no, this will be
um
a Cat Kong versus Dogzilla.
Yeah, and so this is like a really weird plot line. Like this genetics company just wants to turn him into a kaiju and like just threaten humanity. It's like we don't really get an explanation of why they want to do this. It's just they think it would be really cool, and like the writing for like their motivation seems very lazy to me.
Yeah, it's just basically copy paste, insert a evil corporation.
Yeah, like they didn't make much of an effort to really flesh it out. It's just that they like get all these helicopters and their nets and try to dog nap Clifford and take him to the lab.
And you also get that in these children's movies where you get one of those like special agents try to talk to the kid and try to explain that what they're doing is right.
Yeah. When you're a kid, like you were told that government agents or whatever know what's best, but as you grow older, you're like, you know what? Maybe we should be questioning some of this
Yeah.
stuff. This is also about when Emily's mom, Maggie, comes back from her business trip, and like they kind of fill her in on like what's been going on, and she thinks that it's just some silly story they're telling, that like she doesn't believe them when they say that Clifford is gigantic, and what she's like, that sounds like something out of a children's book, which I mean, I guess is a little tip of the hat to the Norman Bridwell
Yeah.
books. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Mr. Bridwell, John Cleese's character, is named after the author of the Clifford books, like
Oh
last
yeah,
name at
yeah, I see
least.
that now.
But yeah, you would think that they would have sent her like cell phone photos of Clifford showing just how big he is. Like this was another plot hole that I noticed. It's like, how did the people making this like not notice this?
It's like the scene from Man of Steel.
Which
It's Man of
one?
Steel, the one after. Oh no, it was Justice League, wasn't it? When he had Superman come down and then he had took a camera and is really talking to everyone. It's like everyone's got phones. Why hasn't anyone recorded this?
Yeah, well, in the beginning of the theatrical Justice League, there's that scene where like it begins with someone with her cell phone trying to interview him,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like a close up of his face and like the really awful
Mustache
like
done.
yeah, the
Yeah.
upper lip without the mustache. What's weird is when I originally saw that movie, I didn't know about the mustache thing, and so I didn't notice anything wrong. But after noticing and then looking back at the images, I'm like, oh yeah, that looks really off.
Yeah, it's just as soon as you realize the whole thing just breaks down.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, so the mom is like, stop being silly. Now, what really happened with the dog? And like Emily is being like, Mom, you have to believe me. Like this is a dog that I really love. Isn't that enough? And like the mom is like hesitant to believe everything that she's saying, but she knows that like the dog means a lot to her, and so
they have to like go save him one way or another. So like, what'd you think of how they attempted their rescue plan?
It was very interesting, to say the least, because they had to get into the base of where they held Clifford, but like they all like wore like all the like black jumpsuits and everything. So but the problem is that because it was dark outside, so obviously they thought they're camouflaged, but as soon as they got inside, all the walls were white,
Yeah.
so it didn't really work.
Yeah, it's a stark contrast. They also like brought in these crab cakes that were like supposed to make the guards fall asleep because they put like these I can't remember if they put like sleeping medicine or sleeping pills or something, but it was like something that it was supposed to like knock them out, but like it didn't work immediately. Like it took a little bit, and it wasn't until like mid sentence that like these guards finally like fell asleep.
It's like happened with a crab in Harry Potter. That's a nice nod they did there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was thinking of that in Chamber of Secrets when
Yeah, when they were just chomping down on the cupcakes.
yeah, and they seem like they're enjoying it, but then they look at each other and with the expressions like I'm not sure about this, and then they fall asleep.
I think they just like fall backwards.
Yeah, there's like another thing that kind of reminded me of that part of the movie where like in this genetics lab there's a cat that looks very much like how Hermione looks when she's part cat in that movie.
Oh,
Like it really felt like this movie was trying to appeal to like the kids and everything that they're into.
yeah, that's pretty much what they can do nowadays.
Yeah, but like they finally find Clifford. They try to like break him out, and like they're almost successful, but then like the scientists and the guards surround them, and one of these people at the lab, who's played by Tony Hale, his name is Peter Tiernan. He appears like earlier in the movie like just around town, and then it turns out he works at this lab as well. He's really funny in Arrested Development, but anyway, so
Yeah, he ran in with a fork. If you didn't realize, because he plays Forky in Toy Story.
yeah.
Just came charging in with his fork because he just finished his sandwich.
Yeah, it wasn't as on the nose because like I feel like if it was a spork, it would have been on the nose, but because it was a fork, it's like, oh, okay, that's more subtle. But yeah, coming in with the sandwich, it felt like that may have been a reference to the sandwiches joke in Arrested Development, where they say we finish each other's sandwiches, which it's like a running thing in that show.
And then Frozen copied that.
Frozen eventually did that too. He like does this like speech where he's like, hey, we'll let you all go if you let us keep the dog, and then Emily does like this like this heartfelt speech about how Clifford means so much to her, and that all these other animals that like all these other pets that they're holding hostage are like they deserve homes as well, and that there are people out there who need animal companions and whatever. And so the people at the lab find the speech very moving, to the point where they decide to just shut down this organization. But like, do you think the speech was enough to make all of that happen, or was it just kind of
I don't think so. I think it was more like a parody or something, because they all started crying as well.
Oh, like you think they were intentionally trying to make it cheesy and bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's really hard to tell with this movie for me, but I mean, in any case, I am glad that the pets get free. And like we see like at the end of the movie, the kids that were like bullying Emily, they adopt some of the pets, and so like now they've mellowed out because like the message is that like some of these bullies felt alone, but now they have like their animal friends, and I guess it's like I don't know. What'd you think of like the messages that this movie was trying to convey?
That a dog is not just for Christmas.
Wait, what?
A dog is not just for Christmas. That's the message.
Oh,
That
like in
everyone
like in
is,
Toy Story, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Toy Story
Yeah.
1 is a Christmas movie because of that one scene at the end.
I think it does well to like teach the kids that like your pets are your favorite friend because they all went to like a dog park together and they all hang out for the first. Like obviously the bullies finally hang out with her and become friends, bonding
Ye-
over their pets.
Yeah, and they're all like throwing chew toys and frisbees. Like it was kind of a nice little scene to tie things up, like all those threads, and like it seems like everything's gonna be fine for everyone. But like I said, there are just some things along the way in the movie that felt like questionable writing decisions that they maybe could have like written better.
Just a bit.
Was there anything else you want to talk about before we go into final thoughts and scores?
Other things. I think that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much covered like the conflict and like how everything turns out in the end. You even see them playing kinetic sand at the end, and like during the end credits, you see like these kinetic sand sculptures of the different pets, and obviously a big red one for Clifford, which I thought was a neat little artistic decision for the credits.
And then there's the after credits where the mist came in and then ate all the dogs.
Yeah, not actually, but
Yeah, that didn't happen.
yeah, like you've seen The Mist recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those movies where like I know of it. I've seen the trailer of it way back when it came out, but like I've never seen it, but I just know of its reputation.
Yeah, it's all right. There's this one really religious woman, and then like she ends up like having turned all these people to her side, and then like she ends up like making sacrifices for people to the mist. I'm like, yo, this woman needs to die.
Nobody wants to be stuck at the grocery store. Grocery stores, I get so much anxiety if there are so many people, not gonna lie. And it's like I'm trying to get to the thing, trying to get what I'm shopping for. But anyway,
Or
that's
like
all.
when someone's standing in front of what you want, and you just stand there behind, just like waiting for them to move instead of
Yeah,
asking politely.
yeah. There's actually a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where it's even more awkward because like two women, and one of them is crying, the other one is trying to console her, and Larry David is just trying to get like the ice cream or frozen yogurt or whatever from like behind them.
That's amazing.
Oh, there's also like a Keanu Reeves cameo. Like he was at the dog park and like walking a dog and playing with it. I thought that was funny. It's not the same dog from those movies, but like it looks like a different dog from the ones in those movies, but and he's like dressed differently, but he very much has like the facial hair and long hair, like how he
Yeah,
looks and like basically how Keanu Reeves looks. Like
he's
Keanu Reeves and
probably
John
getting ready
Wick
for the
just
Matrix. Yeah,
yeah,
he's like,
like this might have been around the time Mafortrix was being made.
my Fortrix. Wow, we really kind of the fan four stick thing.
Right, but I guess we could go into final thoughts and scores out of 10. So, what are your final thoughts on Clifford the Big Red Dog?
I feel that this film, I didn't know what it's going for really. Like that, like it's had this funny moments, and then obviously it's catered to kids. So then it also had like the adulty themes, of course, to tide over the adults who are watching them with their kids. But it's like, I don't know, just a run of the mill kids film really. So I'm gonna give this hot out of dog.
Hot out of dogs.
Yeah,
Like not even a number.
yeah, just hot out of dogs because
Well,
it's not hot dogs.
if you had to give it a number, how many hot dogs out of 10 would it be?
How many hot dogs out of 10? I'm probably gonna give it 4 hot dogs out of 10.
Yeah, that's
Four,
fair.
four hot dogs out of 10. Four hot dogs out of 10 hot dogs. That makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, Clifford eats a lot of hot dogs in this movie too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cannibalism. Can't eat them.
Yeah, but obviously the hot dogs are made of dog. It's just a weird name that I don't know why we call them that. It's weird.
Probably because they're hot and they were dogs once.
Yeah, silly sausages. But yeah, I thought this was like, this movie had its cute moments. It does feel generic and run of the mill. I agree. It has its fun moments, and like, as a dog person, I do like how it makes an effort to like teach kids about like taking care of their dogs and whatnot. But that being said, I don't know how this movie could have been better. Like, I'm not sure what I would have done to make it better. Like, it's just what it is. And maybe this story is better suited for like children's book and 2D animated, probably. But like, this movie feels like it's just kind of there.
Yeah, you can do more playful things with a dog in animation than you can in CGI.
Yeah, or like live action with a CGI dog. Yeah, but
Yeah,
that being said, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if I watched this again. So I think I'm giving this one 6 out of 10 chew toys.
squeaky.
Yeah, just make my voice sound squeaky like Alvin and the Chipmunks if I can.
I was thinking of the penguin from Toy Story.
Oh, Wheezy, yeah. Yeah, like, what a weird random character that we've never heard of before to throw in there. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that'll do it. Thanks for joining me again, Greg. Where can people find your stuff?
I can plug the University of Sussex Sci-Fi and Horror Discord. We watch movies, pretty bad movies recently. I mean, Twisted Pair was incredible.
Yeah, Twisted Pair is so bad it's good, and it's so entertaining.
I'd highly recommend everyone who listens to this to watch that and come back and let us know what you thought.
Yeah. Email us at delayedreplaypodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, probably it. You probably don't need the Facebook, but yeah, Discord's enough to share around.
Yeah, I can well, like I always do, I'll link the Discord and the show notes, as well as the one for Star Wars Society if people are interested.
Yeah, I also do that.
All right. And as for my stuff, people can follow me at Steven Shinder on Instagram and Twitter, Steven Shinder Storytelling on Facebook. Go to stevenshinder.com for info on Lemons and Like Rain, my book. More info on the next one in the near future, whenever that comes out. And you can also find me on a podcast that me and my dad launched called Yes Shift, where we talk about the progressive rock band Yes. You can find that on Anchor, Apple, Spotify, and lots of other places. By the time this is out, I'll also have been on Outer Rim Transmission with my friend Star Raptor and his friend Ben Maynard. Star Raptor has been on some episodes of Delayed Replay before, and me, him, and Ben are talking about the first season of The Bad Batch as a whole, as well as some recent Star Wars news like the Visions trailer and stuff going on in the comics. So yeah, I'll link that in the show notes as well, and should be a fun time. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything now. And if there's anything else I'm involved with, I'll just link in the show notes. But yeah, next episode will probably be about Malignant. But without further delay, have a good day.